Hi, everybody, and welcome to Your Trading Experts live and free. My name is Paul Botterill. I'm the founder of Action's 12th Online Trading Profits and the West Charity Coin. It's my great pleasure to be with you guys today and to have a very special guest in for the show. There we go. My guest today is Ainslie Clubb, gold trader, mum, and stay-at-home trader. Hi, Soon. How you going? And exceptional record. I said this in the pre-video we did for this event that Ainslie's record in 2020 is possibly the best trading record I've ever seen over a period of time. And how I measure that is by the drawdown versus the profit. The difference between drawdown and profit was probably something along the lines of 10 times. And if you can get to 2 to 1, if you can get your profits twice your drawdown, 3 times your drawdown, you're doing really well. If you can get it to 10 times, you're having quite an exceptional year. Look, I do appreciate those of you that got in early. We are running the session a bit earlier today. If you're watching on replay because you couldn't get in early, I do apologize for that. We're going to do the same again next week with Gordon Scott. We're going to run that a little bit earlier as well. And then we will take some feedback from you guys on whether you like it earlier or later. If you have any feedback, then just put it in the chat and let us know. Look, no offense caused, obviously. Whatever works best for you guys is what's best for us. So we'll be at 11:30 p.m. New Zealand. That's 6:30 p.m. Singapore this week and next week. And after that, we'll come back to normal if we possibly can. And remember, please, everyone, next week's show is on Wednesday. I'm going to have an early Thursday night because we've got an IFP in on Friday. Now, Ainslie, how are you going?
I'm going well, Paul. How are you?
I got to say, Ainslie, it doesn't happen to me often, but busy at the moment, and it's not something that I'm a trader. I'm not really used to being busy. I quite like it for a week or two, but I wouldn't want to be doing this for a month or two. There's quite a lot of work going on. I'm not a big fan of that, but it is nice to have some time away. And what's I think perhaps really exciting for me right now is that it feels to me like the market's just starting to give us some really positive signs. Crypto's on their way. Ethereum gone today. Bitcoin gone yesterday. We're seeing some currency moves. Gold, I think gold might be on its way. I had some solid advice from a man I trust a lot today that gold wasn't on its way. Yeah, it'll be back here reasonably soon. But I like the platinum and oil. All over the place. I mean, oil is good news if you're a trader. If you're in the position, if you're not in the position, then the cost of petrol is becoming a bit of a pain in the ass in New Zealand. Petrol at nearly $2.60 a litre over here. So I'm good, thanks. So
yeah, there's a lot happening, isn't there? Really.
Look, yeah, there really is
about to happen.
And look, before we get into it, I'd really love to. I know we've got a couple of questions I sent you a while ago, and I'm going to ignore them and just go for a different start. I don't want to spend 20 minutes on this, but I'm going to spend a couple of minutes on this, right? Nice to see you as well, Agnes. It's you also live in a busy place. You do a lot of stuff. How do you fit trading into your day? Give it to me in 5 sentences. Or give it to me in a minute. How do we fit trading into our day as a busy person? Because a lot of people have to go to the office and they have to work around that. Different for people like you and me. There's no going to the office for us per se for work, but we still lead very busy lives. We've still got to fit trading in to make the money to pay for it all. How do you fit the trading in?
It's a priority. Simple as that. It's a priority. I am a mum, a single mum, and it is busy. And I guess I know this sounds very counterintuitive, but being in lockdown, I didn't have to do the school run. I didn't have to take them to after school sport. I didn't have to do any of that. There was none of that. So I did, whilst we were going slowly, stark raving mad, being in the 4 walls. It was just part and parcel of what I do anyway. And part and parcel of what I do is I'm a trader. I trade at least the 4-hourly chart. I don't tend to go down onto hourly charts. I've developed a system, and the system actually works around with my life and what I can do within that time. But trading is priority.
I really like that. And you said you're a solo mum. I always think of you as being a dual parent mum.
Yeah, it's busy.
You do quite a lot of parenting for one, you do a lot of that kind of stuff as well. So look, I wanted to talk to you today. A few weeks ago now, we had Gordon Scott come in and do one of the shows. Now, Gordon was one of your mentors, a guy you know really well, and he's a CMT. And not only is he a CMT, but he's probably, hey, Paul, Look, he's probably the CMT. When you talk about CMTs, he's the guy that literally wrote the program. He is the CMT. Exceptional trader, exceptional knowledge of trading stuff. But you're a CFT.
I'm a CFTE. So there are two, to make it quite clear. CMT is Chartered Market Technician, which is what Gordon is, and that is based in the States. I am a certified financial technician, and I did my qualification through a diploma in technical analysis that was then recognised by by my local Australian Technical Analysts Association and the International Federation of Technical Analysts. So the CMT and the CFTE are very similar qualifications, but they're just different in that, Gordon being an American, he would have gone the CMT way, whereas the CFTE is probably more supported by Society of Technical Analysts out of London and had more of a leaning that way.
Cool. So why bother?
Why bother? I've got to say, halfway through the second exam, I was thinking the same thing.
Let's be clear, right? That this stuff is this stuff's tough. The top end of this, you can go through level 1 and it's a few multi-choice questions and they're tough, but that's doable. But getting to the top end of this, you have got to have a thorough encyclopedic type knowledge of technical analysis, right?
We're talking, you might just open a chart and look at your MACD or your, stochastic. I had to know the formula on how to calculate it. Okay, so there were no multiple choices. This was top end, full on stuff. We're talking about the course notes per semester being like that. I unpacked them out of a box not so long ago, and I just went, but full on the 3-hour exam for semester 1, 3-hour exam semester 2, and the assignment would have been at least, it was somewhere around the 40 pages, 50 pages mark. So we are talking about understanding the ins and outs of technical analysis, how it applies and what you're looking at and how that is relevant to the charts, and being able to put it against any chart on any market. Now, that's the technical side of things. I'm not talking about the fundamental side. They didn't teach you, a trading strategy. They don't teach you how to look at the fundamentals. It was pure technical analysis. So I broke it down, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to do it. I really, after being coached by Julian and getting along that line and just wanting to know, there was just this drive, and you sort of know my personality now, Paul. I'm a little bit, focused and a little bit direct. I wanted to know more. I wanted to get better, and I wanted to be the best I could be. And that was something that helped me do it. It was just drive.
Look, 2 questions, and the first one's almost a statement as much as a question, but these things are more for people who are looking to trade investor money as professional traders, right? That's where these things become particularly helpful, right?
Yeah, there's no point in doing a qualification like this if you haven't got your trading or an understanding of trading per se, or your systems under your belt. This for me enhanced what I was doing, and also I was also getting to that stage where people were starting to give me money or wanted to give me money to trade, and I was getting involved with MDAs and things like that, and I was like, I'm just a stay-at-home mum kind of person. I didn't come out of any kind of commercial background. I wasn't an institutional trader, and I personally just wanted to learn more. But it was for further down the track, and it's paid dividends having that kind of qualification now.
Oh, look, I think it's one of the things that will be really interesting. A number of people in this room, there'll be people watching this show, and people coming back and watching it on YouTube, and some of them will be 2 hours into their trading career, some of them will be 10 years in their trading career. I guess, when do you think is about the right time to start and look for professional qualifications? So you have investors looking to come, and you've got an established strategy, you feel like you're winning on psychology, and this is where you just go, okay, well, I'm already this isn't for people learning to trade. This is for people who can trade, put the icing on the cake, right?
Yeah, let me tell you, you wouldn't be doing this out of the gates at all. You'd probably curl up in the corner and cry. But obviously, having spent that time with Julian as a coach, and that was a couple of years of learning how to do stuff and learning how to trade and learning what I'm looking at the charts. So yeah, it was heading down that track, and that was where I went. But I wouldn't have looked at doing it, 2 hours.
I just heard my WhatsApp beep and then your WhatsApp beep a few seconds later. Someone is clearly messaging us. Look, look, while we're talking about them, I think that for people who are watching this, right? Look, the truth is, the reason you do interviews like this is because you're trying to help people who are trying to get on this pathway. To understand that it's a real pathway, and but also how to do it. And look, the two people that mentored you, Julian, I think for a long period of time, Gordon Scott for a decent period of time. I'm really interested in what. Sorry, poor boys, brave boys. What makes them? What made them good mentors? What made them the right mentors for you?
Oh, patience. I think let's start with the obvious. They were patient with me, and I think to a degree I was also coachable. I wanted to learn, so I would always go with my questions, and I wanted to learn because I knew these guys knew what they were talking about as well. They understood my situation. They understood where I was trying to go. At that stage, I didn't really know. I didn't think I was ever going to be a fund manager. And that would have been the last thing I thought when I first started out doing this gig. But hey, never say never. There's a lot of things in my life that I never thought I'd be doing. And hey, it is a different story altogether to the one that I thought. But both of them, let's just say they were patient and they understood where I was going, what I wanted to learn. And they also knew I wouldn't give up. I'm fairly tenacious in that regard. Some might say a dog with a bone, but I'll take that on the chin and keep going. I wanted to get it done. I wanted to learn.
Look, it's one of the things that I thought. One of the parts of your answers really resonated with me, and you said you turn up with your questions. And look, one of the things, if you're listening to this, and you're going to come and do some coaching with me, and let me tell you how a coaching session goes generally as a forex trading coach, right? Yeah, someone sits down, you go, "Oh, how you doing? Yeah, cool. You have a couple. And so, how's your trading going?" And they immediately list for you nothing else. They just say, "Well, I'm doing this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong." And I always sit there and think, that's cool, but why didn't you fix that and then come and talk to me? And then we could take you from here to here instead of having to go back down to here and lift you up again. And people who turn up and say, look, I've done what you asked and I've got some questions, that is 1 in 1,000. I'm not kidding you. The majority of people literally just turn up and go, I'm doing this wrong. And you go, yeah, you are. Literally, so what did you do about it? Yes, that's right. Thank you very much. See you next week. And it's a funny thing that a lot of coaching is really just reflecting back to them what they do. And this thing where you turn up with questions, which means you've done what was asked of you and you're ready to go. People who do that, you can just take them so much quicker through an education process than people who turn up having, with due respect, clearly, and everyone needs help in their own way. But people who can do that, boy, it makes a difference to what you can do with them. And look, as you know, I've been coached and mentored by Julian as well, and I've got to know Gordon a little bit more in the last year, and they are magnificent coaches. But good students make you look great as a coach. It's just the truth of it. People who really want to succeed, who are prepared to ask questions, that they make coaching a very, very easy thing to do. So why? So look, let's see if we can do this a bit PC. You started off. You started off learning some stuff that was
dodgy.
And I think a lot of the stuff in trading that we call dodgy, right? That there's one person in 100 who can do that and make some money because they become really, really good at it, and the other 99, it's a bit more of a struggle for them. So you started somewhere without a lot of help. You found Gordon, you found Julian, You got on the pathway to making some money. Why gold and why oil?
Oh, because Julian told me to.
Good student. Good students. Good students are really hard to find, right? Good students are really hard to find. Now, while I'm talking about good students, I want to remind people in this that if you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook and you have any questions, put them in the box on Facebook or YouTube, and Maya will bring them to us and we'll answer them to you. And it's particularly important because today at the end of the show, we're going to do a draw for a $250 top up to your trading account. If you're an Access to Wealth client, it'll be a top up to your trading account. If you're not, it'll be a new trading account. And if you ask a question in the show, you'll get 2 entries. If you turn up, you'll get 1 entry. But if you ask a question in the show, you'll get 2 entries. So if you're on Facebook and YouTube and you ask a question, you'll go into the draw to win the $250 account. So do make sure you ask questions if you've got questions. And look, I always remember the day I met Julian, and he came in, and there's a group of us. And he came in and he started off, and one of the guys put their hands up and they said to Julian, we can tell you're brilliant. We know you know your stuff, but we know the stuff you're teaching us. Can you teach us the good stuff? And Julian said, no, your company's given me a prescription. I've got to follow the prescription. That's what I've got to do. It's my job. I said, okay. So I spoke to him in the break and said, actually, Julian, that's not okay. How about if we bring you in on Saturday, we pay you personally, and you teach us the stuff that you know? And I'm like you, Ainslie. I was never going to miss out on that man's knowledge. You know, if I'd had to pay him on my own to have the Saturday with him, it would have been a problem for a whole day, right? Because I knew I was prepared to spend the money to go where I wanted to go. And one of the important parts of this is that you don't miss the opportunities, right? You've got to, when these opportunities turn up to get better, you've got to take these opportunities, right?
Oh,
don't know how I got onto that.
I don't know, but why don't I do gold and oil? And I can tell you gold and oil, because I started out doing FX. And one of the reasons that I was attracted to FX in the first place was my children were small. So it was something that I could do after I put them to bed, and then I could go look at the markets, and I could trade, because it was coming into the New York session and things like that. So if I was doing, say, the ASX, it shut at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was doing stocks was no good. And when I met Gordon was primarily stocks and exchanges, but I wanted to go FX way. So that's where Julian sort of came in, because that was the connection with how we all got started in the FX market and currency. Julian, if anybody's listen to Julian at any time, he'll talk about his Super Six, and within that Super Six of everything of the commodities, T-bonds and currencies,
Gold,
gold and oil are within that Super Six. So he actually started me on gold, and he said to me, I want you to go look at gold and learn how to trade it. And I went away, and I was having 20 pip stops like I would if I was doing a euro on a smaller time frame. And I kept coming back to him. I said, Julian, I just can't trade this gold thing at all. I just keep getting chopped up, and let's just face it, I can't trade it. I'm better off wearing gold. Just leave. And he was like, you goose, why don't you stop, go back and try again? So I did. And I'm going to say I'm forever grateful that he made me go back and learn to trade. He worked out what I was doing wrong, fixed my little wagon and got me headed in the right direction. And as you know, gold and oil are one of the things that I trade a lot.
Actually, yeah, look, I think that while we're talking about gold, on Sunday, you and Julian are going to be doing Trader Cafe, going to do a deep dive into gold and silver. That'll be a fascinating session. Do you know what time that is? Can you give me a time for that? That is 4:30 Sing. It's 4:30 Sing. It's 9:30 New Zealand. Mike, can you put the link into the chat for those anyone wants to join Trader Cafe on Sunday and hear Ainslie and Ainslie and Julian doing a deep dive into gold? That would be fantastic. Mike, if you can post the link that I sent to you for Trader Cafe, and that would be fantastic. There we go. Thank you very much, Mike. If you do want to join, and look, Ainslie, we're really lucky, right? We wander around and we get to speak to, amazing traders. Adam at Moss Capital, he is world class. We've got the Gordons, the Julians. There's Lloyd and Ash. They just fall out of the air around us at times, right? And we are really lucky to have sort of access to those kind of people.
Oh, thank you, Agnes. Yeah. But we are very lucky to have these people, a lot of institutional traders, and I know a lot of institutional traders who would never consider giving their time to retail, retail traders.
Or anyone else.
The ones that we are lucky to have access to are amazing.
And here's the thing, the point I was going to try and make is that in my experience, right, and all of them I've met, and you meet so many through different things you go to, but I've never met anyone with the breadth of knowledge of Julian McCree. His ability to talk on any market and any topic off the cuff like that. So what do you think of pencils? Oh yeah, the pencil market's there. And he just off. How did that come from, Julian? Yeah. Great, Kamal. We'll get to that question in a second. Keep the questions coming in, guys. Get your 2 entries in for the thing. But we are lucky to have someone around us with that. I'm yet to ring Julian with a question about trading and have him say, "I'll come back to you on it." He just tells me the answer. Yeah.
I have.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. And it was to do with the particular. It was one of the questions on my assignment, and I couldn't find any information on it anywhere. And he looked at. I said, "Could you help me with this?" And he said, "I can't. I can't." And he ended up contacting a friend of his in New York. And he said, "Well, what do you think it is?" And I said, "Look, this is what I think it is." And the friend in New York came back and said, "Yep, you've got it, no problem." I submitted it in my assignment. What was interesting, my assignment came back marked, and there was a cross through it. "No, you've got it wrong." And then that was actually scratched out with, "Yes, excellent answer" over the top. So obviously the assessors had an argument over the question. It was a tricky question. So yeah, it was just one of those things. But yeah, that stumped him. That was the only time I've ever seen him stumped. But he knew where to get the answer.
Yes, and that is, again, this is one of the things where, again, the ability to do this kind of stuff, the ability to just, as you know, I'm doing a bit of crypto at the moment. I know nothing about crypto really, and I can just ring someone up and say, "Hey guys, what do you think? What should we be looking at? Oh, look at this. There it goes." Yeah. And you put a bit of trading knowledge on top of that, and all of a sudden things go pretty well. I've got a couple of questions coming in. I was going to ask you. Actually, we'll do this first. What's the key points I need to keep in mind when trading gold over currency?
Don't keep your stops tight at all. Gold flicks around quite a bit. You need to give it a bit of room to move and adjust the risk reward accordingly, which was my biggest thing, getting chopped up to start with.
I didn't trade gold for I think nearly 8 years. When I was learning to trade, my biggest single loss was on gold, and it was somebody just said, Ainsley, I got up in the morning and the chart had gone in my direction, and I thought, that's cool, I've smashed it, and it had retraced first and smashed me out, and it was my first ever 5-figure loss, and it was like, whoa, this trading thing's a bit sucky today, and I started trading it again about 2 years ago. I literally wouldn't trade it for all that time because I couldn't get my head around the stuff you're talking about get your stop loss further away, give yourself some space. What do you consider to be the key factors to your success?
Key factors. Do you know, that is an interesting question, because I still just consider myself a stay-at-home mum trading during the day and night as well. But one of the big things that's helped me do that is to understand what type of trader I am. Secondly, know my strategy and when to use it. And thirdly, stick to the knitting, stick to what I know. I don't go and try and do different time frames because that looks more interesting on an hourly chart as opposed to what I normally do. So having consistency around how I trade, why I trade, when I trade, but above all, it's just understanding what kind of risk profile I am. I started and Paul, over the last couple of IFPs, we've talked about Gordon's concept of hunting dog and falcon and jaguar, and I was following in the initially because I thought, you see the flashing lights and down on the alley chart, or even a 5-minute chart, I hate to say, you see this and it's moving and it's all very exciting, and then I realized I'm not a hunting dog. In fact, I'm a very, very bad hunting dog. I'd make some money, then the next trade I'd give it back to the market. And what I realized was I'm better sitting back and looking for the bigger move and being patient and just wait for the setup.
You just can't fight who you are. Traders, learner traders love to think they're someone they're not. You just can't fight who you are. So I'm going to ask you a question before I ask you John's question. What's your favorite currency pair?
One that makes me money.
Good answer. And look, so while you do, gold is the majority of your trading, oil gets a run, and the currencies come in as well, right? It's not you you don't trade currencies.
It's not that I don't. I stick to the majors, a couple of their crosses, but I do stick to the majors. And trading other people's money, one of my things is, as I said, I hold positions for a while. So if I have something that's widespread, it costs me money. It becomes an item on my P&L. But the other thing is, it can be, depending on your broker, it can be the difference of your trade hitting target and not hitting target and turning around and coming the other way. So I do tend to stick to the majors. And look, between gold, oil, and a few of the other bits and pieces I do these days, and a couple of the indices, there's always something going on.
A great question from John, and I think you've part answered, and the answer is, his question is not quite exactly accurate, but it still sums up nicely. So only trading gold and oil, how do you deal with times like this summer, autumn, when there's no clear trend in gold? So gold's gone nowhere for a year. It's just been an absolute hopeless piece of crap for a few months now, right? It's been, sorry. I mean, gold's been ranging for a little while now.
I haven't made money I like to make out of it, that's for sure. But it'll change and it'll go. But oil's also had some really good runs as well on the it's had its fits and starts, sort of like from the middle of February when it has its seasonalities. But John, I don't just trade gold and oil. I trade those predominantly because I can, once it gets on a tear, I can scale in and I leverage myself up, and that's my technique that I've developed and adopted over the time to take advantage of a move like that, so my profits will exponentially increase. And that's what we like to see, Paul, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. We've got look, we've got a couple of questions, some great questions coming in, so keep them coming in, please. Look, I've got my couple of questions over here. I'm just going to leave them. I'm going to ask your questions. We'll come back to my questions if we have time. So from soon, Julian Mind had tons of experience in foundations of the market and analysis data. How are you able to absorb and digest it all?
One of the things Julian is very good at is dissecting what you need. And I think probably with you, Paul, as well now, when he gives you the key points and the elements, and he gives you what you need. And there's a bit, look, we have interesting discussions because one of the things he's taught me how to have to go and do my own research and go and check things out and learn things and see things the way I see things, because how can I say it? Julian taught me his strategy. He was very generous with all his information and all his wealth of knowledge, but he also makes you go and do your own research so you can be a better trader because you understand it yourself.
Julian's another one, Ainslie, isn't he? That he's not really look, I'm going to contradict this in a few minutes with this little story, but he's a really good mentor and coach for people from medium level up. From the real beginners, sometimes he struggles to directly connect, but for people who've done a little bit of trading, he just knows the answer, not just to the chart, but what you need to know to understand the chart. And one thing he won't do, he simply won't spoon feed you. He'll make you go away and learn your stuff. He won't just give you all the answers,
Yeah.
From Greg, how long did it take you to develop and settle on your strategy, and how many different strategies did you try before settling?
Yeah. Greg, I used to look at a 5-minute chart. I can't believe I say this now. I looked at a 5-minute chart when I started, and for me, a big step up was looking at an hourly chart. But it didn't suit my pattern. It didn't work. It wasn't, And when I started coaching with Julian, he said, "What time frame are you looking at?" And I said, "Well, I look at an hourly now," and like the disappointment on his face. It was just like, that's so much work to do. But he also understood what I was trying. I had small children and trying to learn, and he could see I was really determined to learn. So whilst he did give me his strategy, it wasn't what I looked at. And it's really funny because Julian likes to look at bars. I like to look at candles because I'm a visual person. I like the color. He doesn't look at pivots. He looks at the RSI and Williams percentile. I look at ADX and MACD. And what's interesting is the RSI and the ADX were designed and developed by the same guy, James Wells Wilder. So it's interesting that but he made me go away and look at all that kind of stuff. And he said, "Well, what works for you? What are you looking at? What lines up? What are you looking at? What gives you the edge? And what gives you something that you can look at consistently to trade what you're trading?" And that's what it comes down to. What repeats? I mean, these patterns repeat all the time. That's why they're called patterns in the first place, by the way. It's a bit of a giveaway. But it's human behavior. All you're looking at is people trading. They're reacting, and they're reacting the same way to a high test bar, to a low test bar, to a triangle, to whatever. Although don't say triangle to Julian, because I know how much he absolutely hates them. But that aside, it was that thing. You had to go through and develop it. So how long it takes is how long you're going to take to go and work out what you see consistently that you can see makes you money. Because by the way, if you don't have any belief system in what you're looking at, you will not click your mouse. You won't.
So
one
of the things I'm really excited. Look, it's interesting, and I'm going to divert away from this for a second. But by the way, look, if you're just joining, guys, we started at 6:30 tonight. We're going to start at 6:30 tonight. We're going to start at 6:30 next Wednesday with Gordon Scott as my guest. It's a really busy couple of weeks, and I'm keen to get to bed a little bit earlier tonight and get a bit of sleep before I get up in the morning with the kids. So we started a little bit early. Do apologise if anyone that's causing any trouble too. Gosh, I say these things and I do that stuff, and I lose myself what I was going to talk about. I was going to I'm going to read a couple more questions while I remember what I was going to talk to you about. What's your secret for consistent winning on trades? Can you share?
Oh, it's being boring. It's just being boring, really. Being consistent is being disciplined. Being disciplined means doing the same thing at the same time every day.
Yeah, look, it's
and it's the same. How many people have you coached, Paul? Do you just wing it? Do you just turn up to a game and just say, well, maybe we might try that person over in that position, or we might try, we'll sideline that person. It's not. This is a game plan, and you would never ever open a business without a business model or your business plan in place. And I've threatened a couple of times to with you, Paul, if people don't submit a business plan or a trading plan to how they're going to trade, when they're going to trade, what they're going to trade, and at what times, they shouldn't be trading. They should be trading at all, because I'm really big on that. You need to know what you're doing. If you're opening a business and throwing money out, well, what's the difference to trading? This isn't a casino. This isn't a gambling. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, by the way, people. It is having some consistency. And when you're running a business, it's the same thing. And I've got very much a business approach. And I've got to tell you, Paul, when I changed my attitude to this is a business, this is a viable business option. And having run my own business for 13 years as a real estate office in Sydney. It was just, okay, this is business. I understand this model. I understand how this all works. I'm just going to apply those principles to being a trader. And you've got to do the same thing at the same time all the time. And you've got to do the exercise, and you've got to do like you were coaching a team.
Look, it's one of the things. It's one of the things, Ainslie, with this. And I was going to tell a story earlier about sitting in the Boomerang Bar in Singapore, Robertson Quay, with Julian, and having a chat and a beer with him one afternoon. And the team had been with us, and we just popped off a quick chat, and they were all watching. And I remember sitting over thinking, they think we're talking about the most incredibly complicated stuff in the world. And we're talking about the simplest trading stuff. And what people who are listening to this show want us to do is tell them, look, the secret is that pi equals 759,422, and ramble on about, amazing and really, look, write this down if you're at home, and write on a whiteboard, put it somewhere, right? If you want more consistent results, you're going to need to act more consistently. That as long as you're acting really inconsistently, it's very, very hard to create consistent results. There's no genius to it, right? You learn something, you put that into action, you become consistent at it, and you create a way to make that sustainable. And that is the pathway to anything to success.
Yeah.
Learn it, take some action, become consistent at it, make that sustainable. And you're some great questions coming in. But this isn't about the most advanced traders in the world aren't people who are super clever. They aren't people who know stuff you don't know. They're people who are disciplined and put to practice the stuff that they know. And the secret to all this stuff is that there's no secret to it. You've just got to practice and become good at it. And look, I want to touch on a question here. I really liked it. And look, someone said, sometimes I may doubt I'm heading in the right trade direction. And if you don't mind, I'm going to make a comment on this. There's only two types of traders: those that make money and those that quit. And everyone who makes money has considered quitting, right? Everyone who makes money has considered quitting, but they don't. And that's how you become profitable in trading. You go through the week and the month that really sucks, and you go through the gold trade where you lose 10 grand and go, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? And you find a way out the other side of it. And if you do that, we're in a good place. Look, I've got a couple more questions. Someone coming in from Royal FX Buddy, I imagine that is on YouTube. How long did it take you to become consistent?
Probably a lot longer than some of the students. I again, it came down to trying to find something that was both conducive to what I was doing as a mum, and the time I had available and what I could do, because doing a 5-minute chart or an hourly chart back in the day at 6 o'clock at dinner time did not work when London was open, just a nightmare. So I had to do it when and the time it took me to go over stuff, and you think you got something right, and guess what? It didn't work out it might have worked for this period, and then it didn't work for that period. And then I go back to Julian and have to go, why did this work out? Consistently, I would say probably about a good 5 years into for what I would consider I was making good money. But like I said, it just took me longer. It was my life at the time.
When you say that, right, I think that when we were starting out, it took everybody longer, and over time people have got better and better at it. And if you're looking for a number, look, the guys who seem to be breaking through and making the most money for Actions to Wealth are people who've been trading for about 12 to 18 months. And I think these days we can do that if they work hard. If they work hard, we can do that in 12 to 18 months. I don't think you can do it in 12 to 18 weeks. I think that's, you can have a boom month and blow up, but that sort of consistency takes, you've got to have some experience, and there's no substitute for that. But I think it's a bit quicker. But I'm with you. I think when we were starting out, I think it was a 5-year journey. We didn't know that, but it was a 5-year journey. And now I think 12 to 18 months, a little bit less if you get a bit of luck, and a little bit longer if there's other stuff going on in your life. But I think that's a pretty good guide for you on that. Have you tried daily wave rider on gold? Does it work consistently?
Paul, as you know, I had my own. I don't use that strategy. Because of the way I've developed my trading strategy, it's more of a personal thing. So I can't actually say that Wave Rider and gold, but I'm sure there's someone in the team that's used Wave Rider on gold and had some good results.
Yeah, look, I think one of the things that an answer to that simply is that the old Wave Rider, the one that we don't use anymore, is particularly good on trending commodities and indices. You know, S&P, NASDAQ, gold when it's trending. You know, the truth is that the Wave Rider will struggle on anything that's not trending, and it'll go pretty well on anything that is trending. And those commodities tend to go, cool. Thank you very much for the feedback, Royal FX. That those kind of things that tend to run in big runs in their trends. You know, I would suggest that the Wave Rider would be brilliant on Bitcoin if you're prepared to stay in the risk. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, while it's going sideways, you get topped out. Then when it goes far enough to make you all your money back and a bit more. I'd have thought. I don't trade it on that. My understanding is that, and I'll tell you what, it's a good question. We're right in the middle of testing the Wave Rider for the next IFP next weekend, and we are, you know, just for you guys to know this, it looks like we've made a Wave Rider breakthrough that is, you know, exciting. You know, the test results that I'm seeing coming in today have doubled the profitability and reduced the drawdown. They are pretty cool. Let me just see if I've got any more.
Reducing the drawdown's a big thing as well.
Look, again, people don't understand. It's all about that. You know, if you can, it's everything, right? Yeah. If you can,
because so many people think it's all about the making the profit, but it's understanding the drawdown. Because apart from the bad numbers it looks on your profit and loss statement or your tear sheet or your trading track record, it does things to your head as well. And I know that's automated, but having that drawdown, if you have a run of losses, how do you deal with having a run of losses? And that's where the wheat is sort of from the chaff. Is you have a break and you get back into it. You know, you take a deep breath, because we've all gone through strings of losses and had a nice disgusting drawdown that makes you feel quite ill. And then people give up and say it doesn't work. Please don't be like those people. Just get some grit, go and talk to somebody, find a good coach, a good mentor. I've got to say, if I didn't have the coaches and mentors that I've had over the years, I wouldn't be here, that's for sure. And one of the best things I've got to say with Actions to Wealth, and this is not, and it's not flippant either. We've got a great community of people, don't we, Paul? And great traders. And if you've got a question about something, you know, we as a trading group, we can go and ask somebody about something. In fact, completely off track. On one occasion, my youngest daughter she couldn't get a Chinese homework done, and I sent it out in the group text, and Lloyd came back with the answers straight away. So hey,
we do have some
homework done.
We do have some amazing stuff in there. Yeah. Look, I've got a question here. I've got to be a bit careful with it. I'm going to try and so Wave Rider uses a daily candle, which puts a big limit on the number of trades one can take. Candle stays the same all day, which a daily candle will do. Which way can I find more opportunities? Going through all 28 pairs didn't help. Look, do you want to comment on this, Ainsley?
You know, there's three positions you can take on the market. You can be long, short, or out of it. You don't have to trade every day. And that's the thing. And unless you're a hunting dog and you need to go down to a smaller time frame, that's fine. But one of the things, and it took me a long time to realize this, but being out of the market is okay as well. I'm a trend trader. So if it's ranging or it's choppy, I lose money if I go into the trade. So
being out of the market's blissful, right? Being out of the market's blissful. You get mental peace. Nothing wrong with being out of the market and clearing your head a little bit, right? It's all the stuff's all good, right? Look, Raj, I'd like you to write this down for me, please, right? The more trades you take, the more money you'll lose. And that when you're just looking for opportunities, if you're just looking for ways to find your way into the market, this is part of the learning. The market will punish you for that. trading is about finding good opportunities, and you need to become good on. If you can't make money on a daily chart, then you will get destroyed on a shorter time frame. So people love starting on the shorter time frames, but really what you want to do is you want to start up here and you want to work your way in. I'd be really careful of it. The hourly and the 4-hourly wave rider in the last 27 days have made 100% between them. So the wave rider on the shorter time frames, the specific strategies for the shorter time frames is going incredibly well. But you need to go through at your own pace and learn this stuff. And look, when I read the kind of thing you're putting there, it really concerns me, because I see so many people who when I've had traders who've made a lot of money and they start losing a lot of money, and I mean a lot of money, and they come to me and they ask me, what to do. I just tell them to go back and count the number of trades they took in the months they were making money, and count the number of trades that they took in the months they're losing money, and I will guarantee they've doubled their trades. And if they go back to being as selective as they were earlier, they'll go back to making money. And if they keep just trying to be in the market and trying to force their way in, they'll keep losing money. More trades is not a successful pathway in my view. Ainslie, you trading crypto yet?
I have been trading spot prices. Crystal, I do struggle with that whole. My accounting brain can't do the left. Crypto is not left right. It's that way. But I do trade spot because I can follow some of the technical setups on the charts, and I've done okay out of trading spot Bitcoin, but I'm not hodling or doing tokens or doing all those weird things that Shukri talks about, because I haven't spent the time, actually. And to be quite honest, it's something I probably digital and blockchain is something that I probably should be getting my head around, because it is a financial asset on the market, in the market, and I trade financial markets. So it is something that I will eventually get into, but at the moment only trading the spot price so far.
So how did you manage your psychology going from working being a business owner to trading for yourself? What were the different issues, pressures?
What were the different? Actually, it's similar, because I treat my trading as a business, and I treat my trading as a business now. It was, I guess for me, the thing was I didn't have to get in the car and go to work, go to my office and deal with the headaches of the staff and
stock.
Where do I start? I wasn't running a start. I had admin team, I had a property management team, and I had sales team, and so I didn't have any of those pressures. But it's a similar type of thing. If you do treat trading as not just a hobby, because there's that saying, you treat a hobby will cost you money, and a business you treat it as a business, you'll expect a return on your investment, and your time is a return on you expect a return on investment on your time, your effort, and the money that you sunk into your education. You want some money back. You want to know how to do this properly. So in that regard, the psychology, and I've been self-employed, Greg, for a few years now. I just sort of like picked up the same mental process and applied it to what I was doing here. And that's, and being a little bit tenacious and a little bit driven is just my personality anyway. So I wanted to be successful at this, and that's where I put my own pressure on.
Is it fair? I think a lot of this stuff comes down to how well you know yourself. For me, and for a lot of guys that we deal with, education provides a small income. And I mean a small income, but it provides a consistent income. And that when you're trading for profit, when you're trading, when you eat what you kill, if you like, knowing that there's a small income sitting in the background is something that for me gives me mental peace. I'm a better trader knowing that's around than when I have to rely solely on trading income, where I can get in my head a little bit that I am relying on it. Any thoughts for you?
Yeah, look, sometimes it's been a bit tough, because I've had some situations where I trade for a living and I don't have a backup, and I've had to do what I do. So there is no safety net for me. So you become very focused on what you're doing. As you know, I had a situation a couple of years ago where it affected my children's education, and I just had to put my head down, back into it. I don't think I slept for it was about 2 weeks. I was running on close to empty, but it paid dividends. And you had a front seat. You could see, I was juggling accounts and trying to get them closed when gold spiked that Monday morning, and my own broker suspended my account, so I couldn't close it. It was a few choice words being thrown around at the time, but you do what you do, and your energy will go where you've got your focus as well. And as I said, that leads into, okay, I wanted to know more about how what these charts meant, what I was reading, and understanding it. And that's how I ended up in doing those qualifications. They weren't easy. Let me tell you, it was not easy at all.
And I've got to start wrapping her up. I thought we might be through in 30 minutes today, but we're going to go the full hour. And in a minute, what are the tools that traders must use?
Where do I start? Start at the top, because I've got a list. I've got a flow chart, and it's a pretty flow chart, by the way. Got to start with a trading plan. Got to understand why are you doing it? What gets you out of bed? What makes you sit in front of those charts day in, day out? Because going across 28 pairs and can't find a setup can be a little bit boring. But you've got to do it. And if you're going to do it because it's going to give you financial independence, it's going to give you some freedom, it's going to give you whatever it is that's going to drive you to do what you're doing. It's with anything that you take on that you want to achieve and be successful in. You need to have your trading plan. You need to know where you're starting, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. Trading plan, reviewing what you're doing, getting an extra pair. If you keep making the mistake and you're putting a big hole in your account, it's time to get a coach. If you haven't got a coach, get one, because if you're still learning and you're trying to do it on your own, let me tell you, you will continue to make those same mistakes over and over again, and you'll put a big hole in your account. Review your mistakes. I don't know how many people, I remember presenting, and I had 2 lots of 50 people in the room, and I asked who on a Saturday or who at the end of the week, on the weekend, goes back and looks at the trades that you've done during the week. And I think out of 100 people, maybe 1 or 2 people put their hand up. If you know what the definition of insanity is making the same mistake over and over again. And Paul, how many times have you been able to just look at somebody's trading and say, well, you've missed this little bit and you've turned their trading around?
It's simple. It really is. And what they're missing is really obvious to people looking in and not different. But I think it amazes me, Ainslie, right then. I've coached a lot of cricket, right? And I've never found one player who said to me, look, I'm just going to coach myself and become a New Zealand cricketer. Right? I'm just going to coach myself and become an All Black. No one does that, but I'm just going to coach myself and become a world-class trader. That's just common, right? I'm just going to teach myself to do this, right? It's like, because you can go on to Google and find all kinds of stuff about trading. You can go on to Google and find all kinds of stuff about cricket as well. But if you do that stuff, you'll end up at the same place. If you're going to try and do it without a coach, you're in a lot of trouble. Look, I'm going to go to a PowerPoint. We're going to talk a little bit about Trader Cafe. We're going to get Maya to post that again. We're going to talk a little bit about Simon's program. Click on the link for those who want to join that. We're going to do the draw, and we'll see if we can fit a.
Oh my dear.
I like Crystal. Good work, Crystal. You might get to win this time. You're trying to win. I'm not sure you can entry
Crystal to win.
Crystal, she's going to be an All Black in 2022. I like that. And to be honest, the way they're playing, Crystal, you're probably an outside chance. Let me share some screen. And that New Zealand coach has made a difference to those Wallabies. Trader Cafe, I'm going to ask Maya to put the link in again for this. And look, if you've joined us late, guys, we started at 6:30 today. We're going to start at 6:30 next Wednesday, and then we're back to normal. Just a really busy couple of weeks. I'm trying to make sure I get some sleep. I've seen the numbers in the room go up a lot. So if you have joined us late, that's fine. We're about to do a draw for $250 account top up. if you ask a question, you get a double lock of that. We might not have a chance to get the questions done in the time that we have. Join Ainslie and Julian on Sunday, 4:30 Sing for Trader Cafe. Look, guys, again, if you're missing this stuff, if you're missing the market analysis show, if you're missing Julian's stuff, look, I pay Julian to do all this stuff for free because I think he's a genius and he can help you guys. I really encourage you guys to turn up and listen. And if you get Ainslie and Julian into gold and silver on the weekend, you will learn some amazing stuff. So make sure you're there. Now, as you guys, many of you may already know, we are going to, on this weekend, we've got Simon Locke coming in and teaching his strategy. 46% profit in 3 months on his son's account. This is a small account for his son. This is his son who's at school, trading part-time in this strategy, making the same kind of money. There we go. Look, it's a Simon Locke's record I've seen, and it is exceptional. The high max strategy works in all market conditions. Who's it for? It's the people who want something new to try to make some money from trading. And if you're looking for something a little bit different, look, Simon came to Bali with us for the last Bali trading retreat. He'd just done a program a week later, came to Bali with us, which is brave. I think it took him a few months after that to absorb it all, because Bali is insane if you're new. You know, it's just, you're just going from here to there. It's crazy, right? But he's a really feet on the ground kind of guy. He's really clear. He's developed a strategy that works all over the place. It is simple. He's going to teach it in 3 hours. I keep telling him he should allow 4 in case he gets slowed down, but I suspect he's going to teach it in 2. It really is that simple. There's nothing amazing, complicated about it, but it's clever and it works. And if you want to do it on Saturday, we've got 5 seats left, and then we're going to limit the numbers because it's his first time presenting. I don't want him overwhelmed. And it's $297, and I will get $297 Sing for a strategy for a guy. Like if you're trading a $1,000 account, you'll get that back in a few months if it goes as it's going, which it is going very, very well. If you're interested, Mai will have posted the link for you guys already for this. You can take a picture of the QR code down there and going from there. But I'm going to let 5 more in, then we are going to close it off. Simon is a good man, but he's new at presenting. I don't want to have him overwhelmed on the weekend. So there are 5 seats left, and then we are going to finish this up.
I do like the idea that you can, he's turning his children into his side hustle. That's got merit, Paul.
Yeah, look, the fact that he's got his kid paying his own expenses already. His kids, I can't tell you his name because he trades a trading account, but you know, my kids are 2 and 4. I wonder how long before they can pay their own way.
They're nearly there.
I'm nearly there. Look, it's this is a strategy that I think, you know, again, look, we wouldn't bring it to you if I didn't think it was good, right? So obviously I'm going to say I think it's good because I think it's good. But look, spend a couple of hours on Saturday morning with Simon. You'll learn some interesting stuff, and you'll like it, Ainslie, because it's MACD based. The high MAC is a MACD based strategy. Different way of using MACD, really different way of using MACD, but it's a MACD based strategy. And you know, you've known me for a long time, and I haven't been impressed with MACD in that whole time, but I'm impressed with what he's doing with MACD here. It is pretty sharp.
Because I love MACD. You know that.
Yeah, MACD. Yeah.
And I said something. It might be the Scottish MACD.
This is the thing, though, isn't it, Ainslie, that good traders find something and become good at it. So 99% of people can't use MACD and make any money. 1% of people make a shitload of money from it. And what you've got to do is you've got to become good at it. And that's the whole game. Become good at it, become consistent, make it sustainable. Game over, all done, you're okay. Learn Simon's strategy if you want to do that and see how you go. Now, what I've got left to do right now is I'm going to ask Mai, broken account register. Mai, can you check the registration link? That should work just fine. James has given me that, hasn't it? Let me just... I'm going to click on that and that's not the Mai, did you put the link in for Simon's cash cow? You did. Rebrown. I can tell you we've got some people that are registered for it. So look, I've just clicked on the link and gone straight through to the page. I haven't put the credit card details in, but you might want to clear your cache and start again if that's the issue you're having. I think it is working, but if I'm wrong, just Hi, Mac. If you can't register, just email into contact actions to let them know, and someone will come back to you tomorrow, and I'll make sure we hold a spot for you in that 5 we have left. I know you're busy, but how about making someone's day? $250 account top up for somebody in here. If they've asked a question, they can have 2 entries. If they've put a question in from outside the webinar, they can have 1 entry. Trader Cafe cannot. Okay, I took that link and gave it to her. Sorry, let me have a look.
You want to come to Trader Cafe?
Again, I've just clicked on that and it's taken me straight to the registration page. And I'm registered.
Oh, good. You can come too.
You know I'll be there, Ainslie. I'll be there. I I don't like to miss these things very much.
No.
Look, not quite sure why it's not working. Can anyone else tell me, please, have you registered for the Trader Cafe and has it worked? It's worked for me. It hasn't worked for any of our guys. Can you let us know, please? Have you registered? Is it working? Is it not working? Let me know, please. Yeah, working works for me, working. So that may be something to do with you, Agnes. We may need you to just contact the team and get some help with that. Maya, let's do a draw. I don't want to keep people here for longer than an hour if I can. I don't want people to go over. Working, okay, great. So guys are checking it is working. So just check with the team, they'll help you. Maya, you ready with the draw? Dun, 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 dun. Will Crystal win? We will find out any moment now. There we go. Let's spin the wheel of fortune and get ourselves a winner. Oh, congratulations,
Crystal,
Raj.
close.
How close, Crystal? How close? Raj, if you could let me know you're still in the room, you've got to just post in the chat box. You've done that before, so post in the chat box and we will get you here. Fantastic. Mai will pass your details on. So close again. You really were, Crystal. Mai will pass your details on to James. He'll be in touch early next week and we'll get your account top up sorted out for you. Congratulations, Raj. Look, Ainslie, thank you very much. The success of this show is about the generosity of the sharing. I really appreciate the candid way in which you share your stuff. I think it's really important for people watching. I really do appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me, and I hope people were able to get something away from other than, not just a strategy. There's a lot more to trading than just a strategy. It is, it's quite the business.
Thank you very much. Look, if you're an attendee today, thanks very much for joining us. So I'll be back on Wednesday next week at 6:30 with a session with Gordon Scott. That'll be recorded and played back because Gordon is in the US and the time frames just don't work. Lots of people coming in and sending their thanks to Ainslie. And Ainslie, again, thank you very much. Guys, have a wonderful night. Remember this with trading. Stay calm and make good decisions. And if you do that, everything works out. Remember, I said it here, learn something, take some action, become consistent, make it sustainable. If you do that, that is a pathway through anything. All the stuff I've coached in my life, if you can do those 4 steps, you're going to be okay. Where are you in your trading journey? Is it time to make it consistent? Is it time to make it sustainable? Learn something, put it into practice, become consistent at it, make it sustainable. If you do that, that is a 4-step pathway to success. I was thinking about some other stuff personally the other day when I came up with that. So I thought I'd share it with you guys. Thanks, Ainslie. See you all.
Good night, everyone.
Have a wonderful night. Take care. See you guys again soon. See you.